All right, here we go. Last year, if you can remember, one of my big calls was that Philadelphia back in 22 winter, they had like 2/100ths of an inch of snow. And last year, I think I called for 24 and they got 20.4. So kind of hit on that one. And some of the areas were a little less and some areas were a little high, but we never got that East Coast snowstorm. That would have changed everything. So here we go with the weather outlook for 24, 25, and what right now I feel like is going to happen. Now we're going to do all states separately. We're going to do Pennsylvania, then we're going to do Jersey, then we're going to do Delaware. So everybody gets their forecast. And here's, you got to just find out where you're on this map and you'll know what you're going to get. Basically, the Laurel Highlands up along the northern part of the state into the Poconos, even the lower Poconos. Temperatures are going to be around normal. Now keep in mind, you're going to have some days that are like 5, 6 degrees above normal, but we're going to be very susceptible this winter for polar vortex to come down and get these sudden shots of really cold air that'll come in for a few days, and that will bring these higher temperature averages down to where it'll be normal. And so it's during those point in times where you kind of look off the coast and see if something's going to go either south of PA or off the coast of Jersey and go from there. Now you can see out in Erie and out towards Pittsburgh, I got you at a degree plus. Most of eastern and central Pennsylvania, I got you at 2 degrees plus. But that doesn't say you can't get snow. It just means that there might be a little bit more ice involved and slop involved with some of the storms that you get. But you'll see on the snow map that I don't think it affects it. Now, what changes on the snow map, you'll see in a second. Okay, now this is my prediction in inches. Um, Up towards Erie, you're going to get your customary 90 to 100 inches. If snow comes in, cold air comes in cold or early enough, it could be this number could be a little bit higher. Down here by Pittsburgh, you're at 40. Down here by Philly, you're 20. The suburbs, 28. Here's Reading at 32. Allentown, 34. Strasburg, 37. The Poconos, 46 and in Wilkes-Barre, Scranton area around 30, Harrisburg around 24, Lancaster 21. These numbers, especially on the eastern half of Pennsylvania, can change if you get an East Coast snowstorm. But we can't count on that. We can only count on these smaller storms coming through that way I see it. And it's a big bonus if we get an East Coast snowstorm. So that's kind of what I see is that the snow totals by the end of I'd say by the middle of April. That would be the final totals right there. As we move our attention to New Jersey, along the coast, you can see down here 2 degrees plus, even over here at Trenton, Camden, down towards Vineland, 2 degrees plus. Even Newark, you're close to 2 degrees plus. The closer to this line up here, you might be closer to +1. Northern New Jersey, it'll be normal, and it could even be a little bit below normal up here in northern New Jersey. But again, you're susceptible to this. It'll be above normal. All of a sudden, cold air will come down and last for several days, and it'll bring what was like, above normal a few degrees. It'll bring it back down to normal when the cold front comes through. So you got to keep that in mind. Now, just because you're plus doesn't mean you can't get your snowstorms off the coast. Now, these are the numbers 36 up here in northwestern New Jersey, 26 around Newark, Trenton around 20, Vineland around 18, Atlantic City 18, and then down towards Cape May down that way, 15, Camden 18. Again, you get an East Coast snowstorm, and you know what they can do. They can double these numbers, but I'm not adding in what I would consider the coastal storms as of right now for New Jersey. So that's your New Jersey forecast. Now we look into Delaware, the northern part of Delaware, you're about a degree plus, heading down towards South Delaware, you're 2 degrees plus. Um, the reasoning behind all this is I think you're closer to the warm air, which will be to the south. But again, doesn't mean you can't get some cold air dropping down when the polar vortex drops down this winter. We'll be susceptible because Canada is going to be colder this year than last year. So that's why I'm talking about all these vortexes or just cold fronts coming down. And bringing in a few days of cold air below normal, and that brings these numbers back down to where they're only a degree or two above normal. And when you add it all up at the end of the year, that's where I think you're at. And these are your snow total ideas. As you can see, you're talking in the teens, snow total wise. But again, I think there's going to be chances of snow coming underneath Pennsylvania, and it would affect Delaware because if it's far enough south, you'd be on the north side of the storm, and that would take these numbers up. If you get a coastal storm again, it takes these numbers up. But I'm looking at this as my opinion of what I think will happen for this winter. And if you look at all these numbers, they're pretty close to normal. This winter, I don't think we have one of these snowless winters at all this year. But I think you'll see temperatures where they're warm and you'll go, oh, this ain't winter. But you give it time, it'll start. And I also think that our first shot of cold air comes in around mid-November, closer to as we move in towards Thanksgiving. I think we should get into a colder routine around then, and that might last into December. And before we see a little bit of reversal to where we start getting into the warmer days, and then all of a sudden cold shots start coming through. So we're going to see how that all works out. And again, snows are all about timing, but we can only look at prior analogs and things like that, and that's kind of how I come up with these numbers. Okay, so that is your outlook for the winter of 24-25 for Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Delaware. Now I'm going to give you one other announcement here. In the next week or so, the .com page will become www.weather-outlook.com. You can go there now and just kind of peek at what it's going to be on there, but it's going to be a more detailed forecast for cities and locations, not just the whole state. There'll be different maps for every area. There'll be, radar maps. There'll be ski conditions, road conditions, things to do. A lot of things are going to be on there. It's going to be $30 for 6 months, or basically for the winter months. Not $30 a month, but 30 total. And the other one, which was Pocono Weather 360, that will be going down. And basically, we're doing that because it's not all about Pocono anymore. We've had to expand out because of people asking for the weather, and it just didn't make any sense to call it Pocono Weather 360. So we'll be changing to www.weather.outlook.com shortly, and I will mention that on Facebook and make an announcement on the old Pocono Weather 360 page when it becomes in effect. And then you go in and you click on, and you can just pay your $30, and you'll be available to see all the videos. And there'll be a lot of more information, more than last year. Going to really concentrate on this since I have more time on my hands right now. So we're going to really get this and try to make it worthwhile to check out the weather, especially when you see these storms. Now, again, this winter, I think there's going to be more storms that change from snow to ice and then rain. And I think it's going to make for a lot of slick conditions. Not necessarily down by Philly, but north and west of that. And then up in upstate New Jersey, I think you're going to see some ice. And I think that would make the roads a little bit rough to control. But again, my advice is always wait till around 10 o'clock in the morning, and then you can head to work or school or whatever it takes, because that's about all it takes for them to clean up the roads and the sunlight to take effect on the roads and stuff like that. All right, that's your outlook. I'm going to go live, but not today. I will go live. Let's see my schedule. We can discuss this. How about next Saturday around, let's say, next Saturday around 4 o'clock? Okay, that would be, what would that be? The ninth. We'll go live and we can sit and talk about the weather, and I'll talk about what my predictions are, and I'll tell you why if you ask. But whatever you want to talk about, then you can. And hopefully by then I will have this weather page opened up for you. And again, it's going to be $30 for the 6 months of winter, not $30 a month, $30 total. And then you'll get eligible for all that other stuff. I'll still post a video on Facebook, but if you want more details and you want maps of the cities close up where you live, that's where you're going to go, because I will show them up close. Where on the Facebook page, I just kind of give you Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Delaware, what's going to happen there. But they'll be up close and stuff, and you'll be able to see things a lot better on that page. Okay, everybody take care. That's my forecast. See what happens. Bye bye.